We have a segment on the show called Hometown, where we talk to our guests about their hometown. Miles and I are sitting in our damn hometown right now.
So fucking much.
And I've been talking about it every week since 2013. Every once in a while, some Auburn stuff slips in. So y'all probably are more aware of Auburn, Alabama than pretty much anywhere else. But if you listen to this podcast,
fucking creates all that bullshit downtown.
I just came from the bullshit money downtown, friends. A new bar opened up, overlooks the university, and it is too fancy
And
for
what's
Auburn.
it called, Rivers?
It's called the War Eagle Supper Club.
Fuck them running.
For the uninitiated.
People, fuck that bar.
The War Eagle Supper Club would be one of most people's answers to question 3, which is worst bar.
Yeah. Or best bar, you know.
Or best, you know.
I mean, that and bodega, they kind of go.
Yeah, so it's a classic dump out by the interstate that stayed open till 5 a.m. due to a strange loophole of where it's a private club, and all you had to do to become a member was give them $2, and they would give you a card. It was like,
and
hey.
when it was constructed, it was still outside of the city limits.
That's right, 1934, I think, or something.
Thereabouts,
It's been there a long ass time, but they tore it down in 2016, and now this brand new hotel has the upstairs very, very fancy bar, and I guess they bought the rights, and it's now the War Eagle Supper Club, and it's very funny because it's fancy.
Makes me want to shit.
Well, speaking of which, the nachos, fantastic right there. Yeah, so, you know, well, Auburn's been covered, but we've got 2 fantastic guests from all over the world, actually. One from right nearby and one from literally the other side. So we're going to go through and talk about Lanett, Alabama, right down the road, and Gold Coast, Australia. Yeah.
Get you a
Queensland, right?
banana.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I know my shit. What's up? What's up, Aussie
Is that the place
listeners?
where you get the picture with the banana?
Yeah, the big banana's further north. Yeah.
Wait.
There's some giant things that every so often, you know, get sort of famous. So there's a big, they call it the big banana. So the further north that you travel in Queensland, the more tropical it is. It's pretty tropical all the way down, but it gets more tropical. So there's big banana plantations, and there's a giant, I don't know how big it is. It's got to be
fairly large.
Yeah, like 100 feet maybe.
Yeah,
50 to 100 feet. Like, it's a big banana.
Okay, right
Like,
on.
you don't look at it and you go, no, that doesn't live up to its name. So there's the big banana. There's also the big pineapple. Same diff.
Okay.
It's a big ass pineapple.
All right.
And like, if you're traveling through Queensland, there's not a lot to do, but you come across a giant fruit every now and again. You're like, you know what? Sweet.
Hey, that works.
Seen it.
Better than a fucking big ass ball of yarn.
Yeah.
Los Angeles has the binoculars building, which is just a regular office building, but it has a 50-foot tall pair of binoculars over the entranceway. And that's how you go
We've
in.
got a Hard Rock Cafe on the Gold Coast. So we have a big guitar.
Big guitar to walk through?
Yeah,
Fuck
and they boast it's like the largest guitar in the Southern Hemisphere. It's not even playable. It's got lights. Like it's all LEDs.
Yeah, that's like calling a skyscraper the biggest box in the world.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
It is in that shape.
They
sure.
did fight over that, and the Gold Coast has one of the largest towers in the world.
Okay.
Because they put a spire on it.
Oh, that's LA too.
Yeah. So like that's cheating.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
shit.
So
But
cheating.
it's the largest in the Southern Hemisphere residential building.
Whoa.
Except Melbourne's got one that's a bunch of bits higher, but without a spire on it. And
all right.
And then Burj Dubai got built and just dwarfed both of them.
Right,
So-
right.
course.
Well, you know, we'll run down these questions. I'll have you guys go one at a time. So we'll start with question 1. Lanett, Alabama. Nico, Brooke. What was the incident?
Okay, I don't want to call this an incident per se, but I do want to call this the most interesting thing that exists in Lanett, Alabama.
Okay.
So, 91 years ago today, a little girl named Nadine Earls died of a lung infection.
Okay.
And leading up to her death, she repeatedly told her father that she wanted a dollhouse, specifically saying, "Me want it now."
Oh, God.
And then when she died, her dad built a life-size dollhouse over her grave.
Oh, shit.
Inside the dollhouse, there's a tombstone or a grave marker that says, "Our darling little girl, sweetest in the world, little Nadine Earl, in heaven we hope to meet, Me want it now.
Oh no!
This is in Lanett.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, I gotta say shout out to my friend Jordan Williams who builds doll houses with like murder scenes inside of them.
Oh, neat.
I need to inform her about that post haste. That is fucking terrifying and amazing.
Yeah.
So it's typically locked up. One time when I visited, it was not locked up. Inside, there's a photograph of Nadine's whole kindergarten class visiting the dollhouse for her birthday.
Oh boy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then a bunch
Wow.
of dolls. So
Okay. I mean that's certainly an incident. What do you mean? That's a fucking crazy incident.
Shit.
All right, let's spin that globe. Gold Coast, Australia. What was the incident?
Okay, so the Gold Coast is a weird town. Like, that's the first thing that you guys need to know. People say that it's like a Miami.
I've always heard Gold Coast is Australia's Florida.
I agree with you. I think it's more
Yeah, it's like
Panama City Beach.
Oh,
like, I
right.
think that's what the Gold Coast brings.
Hell yes.
So one of the things that Australia is famous for, especially the Gold Coast, is a thing called schoolies. And that's a very Australian named thing. Schoolies.
Yes.
And so schoolies is the week after year 12 graduates. They come to the Gold Coast and they party unsupervised.
Oh, so it's like
Okay.
spring break.
Very much.
Yeah.
It's our version of spring break. And because of how it works,
Schoolies.
the
What
New
do the
South
Amish
Wales,
call it?
Rumspringer.
Rumspringer.
Yeah,
It's like Rumspringer.
It's like Rumspringer for everyone. Everyone does a Rumspringer.
It's spring
and
break.
Everybody
like,
really does
cut
need to do a
sick.
Rumspringer.
And so, because that's like one of the big things, they just take over the whole city.
Yeah.
And the New South Wales, their high school graduates a year later than Queensland because they want their kids to be a little more well adjusted when they're entering the workforce, I guess.
Okay.
They make- okay.
So they're allowed to drink, whereas Queensland year 12ers, most of them are 17.
Okay.
And so like 18's the drinking age. And
Right.
a lot
Oh,
of people,
word.
first time to get trashed, go all the way. So the city just gets
Yeah.
covered in vomit and trash and it's garbage. And if they're old enough to go to the nightclubs, they hit up all the nightclubs. Tour groups will bring them through pub crawls all over.
Yeah.
And there's always like, it's terrible.
I was gonna say,
There's so many shitty, awful, the humanity is broken moments that go along with schoolies.
Well, and can I say my favorite thing about the Australian people is that you will take, I assume schoolies is short for like school kids, school age
Yeah.
children, right? But I'm sure there's people, alcohol poisoning, people falling off
absolutely.
balconies. If it's anything like America's Spring Break,
All of that.
and you have reduced that to schoolies.
Yeah.
Like,
And so the people going are schoolies as well. They're schoolies going to schoolies.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, if you go to schoolies and you're not graduating, you're a toolie. And so that's the.
so wait, these are like Matthew McConaughey,
Yes,
like
yeah.
best thing about schoolies,
they
man.
stay the same age,
They
man.
keep getting younger. I stay the
Now that
same
you've
age.
cracked that door open, yes, that's a massive fucking problem.
Yeah.
So there's like real gross shit that happens. I googled Schoolies incident and I graduated, and when I graduated on the Gold Coast, they came in and they said to us, "There's adults going to schoolies handing out business cards offering that you can lose your virginity to them, and they're called the Cherry Busters." And like the police, like, technically you're legal adults, so we don't really have grounds to do anything about it, but it's predatory, so we're letting you know.
That's like they have those fake badges that say female body inspector. It's like
Exactly.
FBI.
And so this year, same shit, different year, 20 years on, and now the police are going into the schools and being like, now adult content creators are going to want your supple, young flesh for their content
Really driving
generation
home.
machine.
Watch
And
out for the schoolies.
You need to be thinking about your future job interviews, and if you're getting an interview from somebody who's seen your nethers, you're never going to be able to negotiate a decent living wage. And so
Schoolies are not coolie.
yeah, no, don't be, yeah.
You did it.
So schoolies as a thing, that's the
That's the incident.
Yeah.
Have you witnessed like any?
So
What was your experience with it?
I was a religious teenager. I don't know if we talked about
So you
this.
were in the street with a sign yelling at the
So
schoolies.
there's an organization called the Red Frogs Australia, and they have been taken over by the Uniting Church because, and this is true, the Pentecostal churches who were doing it were getting like really drunk kids and then converting them to their religion rather than helping them.
Oh, you don't say. Pentecostals, you don't say.
Yeah. So like it became like more Episcopal, and then it became just secular. So now there's just like counselors helping kids who are in crisis during their first time being drunk away from home, instead of predatory religious shitty people going
So
in
it's
and
like
praying
just
for
like
them.
a chill out tent kind of thing.
And so like now it's a bit safer than when I was young and was invited to go be a red frog and went around handing out red frogs to drunk idiots.
Wait, what are the red
Oh,
frogs?
it's a candy. So it's Allen's is the candy brand.
Okay.
And it's red gummy frogs.
Oh,
And,
okay.
Candy cross the pond.
You hand them out all night and find really drunk, sad children and try and convert them to Christianity. Well, that's what it was.
What was
when
the
I was
sales
there.
pitch with it? Like,
You know how bad you feel right now, first time being drunk away from home?
What do you wake up, moron?
Imagine that forever, but you're on fire. That's hell. And if you don't give your heart to Jesus, the Bible says that's where you're going. Oh no, I convert. And then
so now they're
Yeah.
so now they just go up to them like, you know how bad you feel right now? It means you did it wrong.
Yeah.
You should
No, like now it's like, you know how bad you feel right now? Drink some water.
Yeah,
Here's
yeah.
a bottle of water.
Here's a
we'll get you
Camelback.
back out to the party in a little while. You can,
drink Gatorade.
So yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
put
a
on some
good-
trance, chill out, you know.
Can we just
Look at
talk
some
about
blue light.
cherry busters?
Yeah.
So when I volunteered for the Red Frogs, I remember going to their headquarters and seeing through the glass wall to a group of girls talking to a counselor. And they were like, oh, yeah, no, that's just because sexual assaults go through the roof during this time of year. And so they've been talking to
Jesus.
people who've had a
It
terrible...
works?
And I was like, that's bad. And they're like, yeah, so they're all counselors who've been talking to people who've had awful things happen to them all
my
night.
God.
And now they're at risk
damn.
of killing themselves because that happened one year. So now they need a debrief after talking to people who've... And I was like, oh,
Holy
this
shit.
is I'm 17 as well, and I'm trying to hand out candy to other drunk 17-year-olds, and I don't want to be part of.
I just wanted
whatever
to talk
this-
about Jesus.
Yeah, that's far out. Yeah,
I'm just here for the Lord, man.
yeah, I was then. Yeah.
Shit. All right.
So yeah,
Schoolies.
human
Again, it's a
society.
hard. Like I said, it's my favorite thing about Aussie.
know.
It's a pretty horrifying situation that you have boiled down to schoolies. Which
Exactly.
sounds like I don't know.
Oh, it's twiddle time, mate.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? Oh, it's when the spiders come out of the fucking drains and bite you.
Yeah. Oh, you hope they bite you. 1 in 10 will just molest you. You're messed up for life.
Yeah, schoolies just it sounds like the off-brand Heelys. Like
Yes,
it should
yeah.
be shoes with wheels on them. Well, let's bounce back to Lanett.
Back to one of them L towns.
Local legends. Who do we got?
My grandpa,
Oh.
actually. My grandpa was known as the Walking Man.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Wow, this is a first. This is the first in this segment where we've had a local legend that people are actually related to, and a legit one.
He tracked how many miles he walked every day for like decades, and it added up to like the circumference of the Earth like 3 times.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
Nice. Good for him.
And also, he grew a gigantic pineapple one time, and that makes me very happy for him.
Okay. Is it bigger than the one in Australia?
Probably not. That was fucking massive, but it wasn't real, so your grandpa wins it on a technicality.
There we go.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah. So were people in Lanett were like aware of him? Like that's
Yeah.
the walking man?
Like, he was in the newspaper and stuff a lot. Which,
Wow.
Yeah.
And he just walked around town basically? and-
Yeah, he just walked around.
Okay. So besides the guy with the Cherry Buster cards, who was the local legend of the Gold Coast? Because obviously Doc Hollywood.
Right, Doc Hollywood
Doc
on
Gold
vacation.
Beach. Yeah.
So we've got a guy named Dean Vegas who's an Elvis impersonator.
God damn it! Doc Hollywood!
Who keeps running for mayor and
Doc
losing.
Hollywood's cousin, Dean Vegas.
He's run like 10 times and he loses
my
every
God.
time.
That's amazing.
Well, hold on. I need to know everything
Look,
about Dean Vegas.
I know a guy who's like a younger up and comer on the Elvis impersonator scene.
How many are there?
Oh, there's a lot. There's big Elvis fans in Australia.
Whoa, okay.
Why?
So yeah, like I know a guy as well who's like, I've got a personal connection to the Elvis impersonator family, and he fucking hates the guy. He's like, the goddamn Teen Vegas taking up all the attention and booking up all the. He can't even sing good. It's like,
I've got like a mostly done sketch idea about feuding Jimmy Buffett impersonators.
oh yeah.
So I'm going to need to pick your brain deeply about this situation
very
because
much
it's very much along those
Yeah,
lines where
we-
there's one guy who's kind of sucking up all the oxygen for the other Buffetts.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fucking their shit up.
We'll write this screenplay.
Yeah.
I learned how this year.
This margarita
Part
bill
of my
ain't big enough for the
artistic
biggest two of
journey
us.
was screenplays.
Dude, I can't imagine the drama in an Elvis Presley
Yeah,
impersonator
that's
scene.
Teen Vegas right there.
Oh my fucking god. That is. But
The listener, you're going to have to
Holy
Google
shit.
it yourself, but he looks
yeah,
like
I'll put it on the
he looks
Discord.
kind of like Elvis. Like he
Oh,
looks,
that's
he looks kind of
incredible.
like if Elvis was Australian. That's what he looks like.
Wow.
Which is funny. 'Cause he is.
The only thing even kind of along those lines, and I maybe have told the story on the show before, but I went to Boise, Idaho for the first time, and there's a Leonard Skinner song called "What's Your Name?" and the opening line is, "It's 8:00 in Boise, Idaho. Mr. Limo Driver, take me to the show." And my joke was always, "There's no fucking limos in Boise, Idaho." And I said this to one of our listeners who was nice enough to take me out for a drink. I told him that, and he was like, "Well, there is one limo here, and it is driven by a Rod Stewart impersonator." I was like, "That's amazing."
Yes.
And then they go ... and also it's Kevin Spacey's estranged brother. I was like,
Wow.
Boise is the most amazing town I've ever been to.
That's a deep cut trivia
It's
question.
fucking crazy.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, man.
Like he's not even going to impersonate his brother. He's
No.
going to impersonate someone else.
No, well, and I was like, and he was ahead of the curve on like dumping Spacey. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah,
just because
he was,
of
he was ahead of that curve.
Yeah, hell yeah. So the other Elvis is is he the best Elvis or just the most flashy, the most
I
prominent?
think he's just the one who, the
He's
one
like
who
the
puts
hack.
himself out there the most. Yeah.
Wait.
He's a hack Elvis.
Yep.
Why can't he win as mayor?
What?
Why can't he win as mayor?
Oh, I don't know. He's got sound fiscal policy.
Cadillac for everybody, man.
Like, everybody's going to come on down to my show, man.
Everybody gets a Cadillac.
Well, we'll just have a rock and roll together, and then all social problems will go away.
I'm gonna put a sweaty scarf around your neck, and
Yeah, right.
it's gonna be great. Holy shit!
Mm-hmm.
What is? Where do they perform? Is it like Elvis? Is it like a Vegas situation where they're like on this, just on the boardwalk or whatever?
Yeah, we don't have too many of that, like licensed characters out and about. We've got more buskers.
You guys have to have licenses.
Oh yeah. That's.
This is
Oh yeah,
America.
because LA doesn't.
I was gonna say no.
No, you just need a knife to protect your corner.
Yeah,
from
straight
the
up.
other one.
Shout out to Sun-Bleached Hulk. He used to be green.
Yeah, no, the Gold Coast, you need a license to busk, and they give a few out, and then they're out. They make good
Wow.
money. They make good money. But
That's
yeah, it's
amazing.
mostly musicians just doing covers.
Okay, right on.
One lady played an accordion. I remember hating her guts when I worked in Surfers Paradise. I was like, I don't want to be listening to accordion right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit. This one, is there a bar in Lanett?
No.
I didn't think so. Yeah, that's why I
No.
said worst bar.
So I think there's technically one bar in Lanett where people just go and get shot. Not really like
They just
an
line
option.
up, knock on the
Yeah,
door.
like if you want to drink, you just go to the Mexican restaurants and you
Oh,
drink
yeah,
there.
there we go.
Like that's about it.
That works.
Yeah.
Shit. What's the worst bar in West Point then? Let's hop the river. What do we got?
I can't think of what the bar in West Point is. I don't know.
I'm sure it's fine.
It's
The
just-
West Point, right?
You
but
just
there's
go
only
to
one, so
Auburn
it's
to
default
drink.
best
You
Okay.
just
worst.
Yeah,
drive to
exactly.
Auburn and then you drive.
Yeah.
You go to Atlanta, but you stop like quarter way there. Or if you stop a little bit farther, you can end up in LaGrange.
Did you guys drink in the woods or anything like that when you were
You
younger?
gotta drink in the
Yeah,
woods.
that's what we did.
That's the
Yeah,
bar.
yeah.
That's the
Okay.
beer bar. The
Gotcha.
bear bar. Lots of coyotes.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The coyotes are fertile out there.
Yeah, they've all still got their cherry card.
We used to have the fucker.
Older, weirder coyotes handing out cherry buster cards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
exhausting.
We used to have to avoid the cows when we would go drink in the woods.
Yeah, yeah.
Avoid
if
the
I- 'cause-
cows?
Yeah, we used to drink on
Invite
the
'em
old
over.
farm in Camp Hill, Alabama.
Oh.
Yeah, then we'd corral the cows in my massive Suburban. And the only one who ever got injured was a friend of ours, and the only reason she got injured was she hit the seatbelt wrong and cut herself.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We poured vodka on it. It was
It was
fine.
fine.
It's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah.
You can also go to the lake.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Lake Harding.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Lake Harding,
Yeah.
right where our fucking governor sits her fat ass.
The horny coyotes, by the way, are called Awwoolies. There we go.
Well, damn.
What's the worst bar on the Gold Coast, Nick?
Oh man, on the Gold Coast, there's so many. I actually worked at probably the worst bar on the Gold Coast.
Kid Rock's badass Gold Coast honky tonk.
Right, yeah. So there's a bar that's just called the Bourbon Bar, and I worked there as a bouncer for a year, and it was one of the worst jobs I ever had.
Ooh, boy. All right.
It was underneath Crazy Horse Showgirls strip club.
Sure.
And they were owned by
damn.
the same guys and had an internal set of stairs. And you're not allowed to change venues in Australia after 3 a.m. Part of their trying to curb all of the violence in the downtown was if you're outside the bar after 3 a.m., you can't go back in.
Can't go into any other bar.
Or any other bar. And
That's
so
very sensible. And
it's sort of, and like there was a lot of fucking idiots. That's the thing. From
that's-
working
Oh, you
that
don't
job,
Yeah.
I saw that there was a cop who I called Hot Cop because he was so ripped.
Okay.
And like the other cops, like you'd see a sergeant walking, he'd have his gun, he'd have pepper spray, he'd have 2 tasers, he'd have like 100 zip ties.
Yeah.
This guy didn't carry shit. he had like these motocross riding gloves, the Fox brand. I
Sure,
recognize
yeah.
them. And I saw him choke so many people out. Like he would.
Are you sure he
there
was an actual cop?
Well, here was the thing. Full uniform, and like I saw fights breaking out all the time. One time I saw 2 big guys taking swings at each other. Cops are running from the other end of Cavill Avenue, and he just outpaces the rest of them because I'm sure he's on steroids. Like,
sure.
there's no rule against being on illegal steroids when you're a cop. Just when you're a sports person.
every cop in America.
And so he just throat punched one of them, and he goes down, and then he swung around onto the other guy's back and just choked him out in like 2 seconds. And I was like, all right. So like that was the bar that on the Gold Coast that was the worst. And there was because I did comedy up in Brisbane, I would go up to Brisbane, and there's a few like weird suburbs in between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. One of them was called Logan.
Okay.
Not named after
Hugh Jackman's character.
No, it was called Logan first. And there was a tavern in Logan that we would go do comedy in. But I couldn't get any of my friends to come because when they went there before we did comedy, they all got the shit kicked out of them.
Whoa.
So it was a hard ask. I was like, no, I'm gonna do a tight 5. And they're like, I got headbutted in the teeth. Like they aimed for my teeth.
God
man.
damn.
Like that's so
Holy shit. Yeah, when I first started, there was a place in, I want to say is Prattville called the Blue Lizard. And a guy I went to high school with was, I think he was either bartending or bouncing there, and saw that this is literally right when I had just started, and was like, oh yeah, you should come do stand up here. We have comedy here sometimes. And I just went to their website and clicked, and there was MMA happening in the middle of the bar. Like you just click their website, there was just 2 guys like mostly nude throttling one another.
Was
like,
that the one with dwarf tossing?
yes, and they also had dwarf tossing.
What?
Yeah, that was an activity. And I was like, first of all, how big is this goddamn bar?
Well, you can't bear bait anymore, so you might as well.
Yeah. So yeah, there was a lot happening at the Blue Lizard. I don't even know if it's still around, but it was one of my favorite things to just check out the schedule. I'm like, I will never do stand up here because
I feel like I've never heard somebody be like, I did stand up in Prattville and I had a great time.
yeah, no.
I think those words, I was in Prattville and had a great time, have never existed.
Hey, you never been to the Bass Pro Shop, my friend?
Hey.
I know the owner of Adrian's
What now?
downtown. He's lovely.
Oh.
There's one bar in Prattville that doesn't suck. It's called
okay.
Adrian's. Its owner's name is Derry, and he looks just like Seal, and it's wonderful.
Okay,
It's
all right.
It's a small oasis of sanity in a world of insanity.
Noted. Question 4 in Lanett. What's the best local food?
This is impossible.
It's impossible. Or just nearby. What do we got?
Jack's.
Talk about stuff here.
Is it
in
Jack's?
Columbus.
It's Jack's, right?
It's Zen House has great, just cheap Chinese food where you
Oh.
just get a whole plate of broccoli or chicken or something, and it's lovely, and all the church people go there, so that's lovely. There's a bunch of Mexican restaurants again.
Hell yeah.
Recently, a Dunkin' Donuts opened, so
Ooh,
that's
wow.
high style. That's
right.
lovely.
Fancy.
Oh, and also finally got a Chick-fil-A there. Not a Chick-fil-A partaker, but would love to see the traffic surrounding that.
Okay.
yeah.
I do think that'd be fun.
They got Chick-fil-A in Lanett now?
Yeah, well,
Damn.
I think it may technically be Valley, but we have to
Hey,
combine these
moving
two.
on up. Moving on up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. What you saying for the Gold Coast, Nick?
Oh, so Gold Coast is big party town. Lots of restaurants, good Thai food all over.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what do drunk people eat?
Oh yeah, Thai food.
Is that
Yeah.
that
Well,
seems so messy?
There's one place called Boon Chu, and like they had metal chairs and metal tables, and like
Oh.
they had one thing on the menu: Boon Chu chicken. And
Okay.
that's all they needed on the menu because it was the best thing I've ever had.
Okay, right
Fucking
on.
hey, man.
So yeah, a lot of Thai food around. I think that the best in the Gold Coast though is there was a restaurant called. All the locals called it Ashmore Steak and Seafood, but its actual name was Ashmore Road Seafood and Steak.
Okay.
But that doesn't flow. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Ashmore Steak and
Yeah,
Seafood
yeah.
flows.
Yeah.
And we had every like birthday, wedding, Christmas, everything where the family got together. We went to Ashmore Steak and Seafood, and we got a bunch of platters of fresh seafood.
Hell yeah.
And so like being right there on the coast, like amazing, unparalleled seafood.
Okay.
Moreton Bay bugs, lobsters, crabs,
Rock lobster, hell yeah.
shrimp.
Wait,
Put
what-
out, we
what
call
was
them
that
prawns
first
and they're
one?
big.
I'm sorry?
Moreton Bay bugs.
Are those crawdads?
They're bigger and they've got a flat head and their taste is very unique, but they are a type of crayfish. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
right
Yeah,
on.
and so like they're one of my
Mud bugs.
favorites, and barbecued Moreton Bay bugs is a delicacy.
Fucking hey, man.
And,
Bay
and
bugs.
so yeah, very much going for the seafood. Everything was there, sharing platters until we were all fat and happy, and they had to roll us out the door.
Hell yeah.
Fucking hey.
I've had a dream for years about getting somebody's abuelita's recipe, going to Australia and selling burritos because they got such a surf culture there, but not like a long history of having Mexican food. I'm like surfing and Mexican food. I've lived in California too long now, but that seems to be
My partner lived in California, and she said the best part of California's trash, shit, sucks. The only good thing about it is California burritos.
yeah. Well, I don't know. They got the French fries in there.
Well, that's
I find
her
them
selling point
distracting.
on it.
I find them distracting.
You can get California burritos two places. One's in LA in California.
Yeah.
The other's the Gold Coast, Australia. They
Oh, okay,
opened up
right on.
one other, and that's where it is.
Somebody-
you were beaten to the punch.
Somebody took my plan. Yeah. Because I've been told that before. Is that Thai food is kind of the go-to like junk food, and it's like burritos so much easier to eat.
Yeah.
you know, like,
yeah.
yeah.
But the
Thai food, you need a table.
yeah, but the government of America doesn't actively export our culture. Oh wait, and our actual food culture because we have none. Whereas the government of Thailand is like, hey, you want to open up a Thai restaurant? Well, this is what you're gonna serve, and we'll give you some money to do it. Great.
You know, we have a it's called New York pizza on the Gold Coast.
Oh, okay.
And they do proper New York style pizzas. And
Okay,
so
right
you
on.
can grab a slice while you're real drunk for like $4. And
Do
it's
they?
solid.
Do they also lie about getting the water from New York to make the dough, like everybody in LA
Yeah,
does?
probably. We import the water.
There was a place in LA. It was Larry before he passed. R.I.P. to the King. Larry King's New York Water Bagels.
Wow.
And it was a bagel place that claimed to import their water from Brooklyn to make the bagels. I'm like, you don't do that.
And, like-
absolutely not.
Even if you did, that's gross. Like,
Well, that's if you talk to.
fresh.
there's more calcium from the pipes.
No,
Like,
literally, that's what they say. It's
Yeah.
like New York people are like, our pizza tastes the best because we got the oldest pipes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like,
we like the rust.
Yeah.
Because a rat made this.
New York. No, straight up. The one time I ever went to New York, I was going through Central Park to go to the Natural History Museum, and I just looked
shot
over.
the CEO of United
I
Health.
just, committed a pretty awesome crime. But I
It was demure.
was waiting for, it was the middle of the day. I was like, where the fuck are the squirrels? And I looked down and just rats. The rats are the squirrels. There are no squirrels. The rats are the fucking squirrels.
The rats are the squirrels. The rats are
They're
the squirrels.
They're going up the what? They're
Are
going
the
up the
squirrels.
trees. They're fighting like squirrels. They're fucking like squirrels. They don't care you here.
So we had a little creepy thing up top, but we'll see what we got for Lanett. Local ghosts or monsters? Do we got Does that dollhouse haunted?
That probably would be the answer.
I mean,
Or it's all the fertile coyotes. Yeah.
oh yeah, the cherry busting coyotes.
There is one place called Smedley Road that people claim is haunted.
Oh,
It's probably just methy though.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's usually how it works
Is that
out.
the one where you put it in neutral and they push you up the hill or something?
Yeah, for
every,
sure,
every
yeah.
fucking town in the South has one of those.
Right.
I love it.
Right.
Gravity Hill in Sylacauga.
My
Yeah,
friends
there you
went out there one time and they claimed they found a body on the side of the road wrapped up in a mattress. I'm like, you just found some trash,
Dad,
sir.
just
Just found a mattress.
Yeah.
It
You
sounds
just
like.
found
Yeah.
some mattress.
Holy shit, Smedley Road.
That's how I buried all my dogs.
It is a good name though.
Yeah,
I would feel like that is haunted.
Yeah, it is.
I don't
It's a
know.
good name.
A lot of bodies wind up in the Chattahoochee River, so that's
yeah.
not great. But I feel like bodies in a river, find those anywhere.
It's better than non-expired ammunition in the river. At least you don't live in Columbus.
Yeah,
Truth.
murder
Shout
weapons.
out.
What have we got down under for ghosts or monsters?
Oh, we got some good cryptids. Like we got cryptids that were handed over from the Aboriginal
How
people.
cute are their names?
The bunyip.
Oh, yeah, that's the Bigfoot.
The bunyip is like a Lovecraftian monster.
Oh, is it? I thought that was just y'all's Bigfoot.
Google the
No,
bunyip.
dude.
Yeah, no, the bunyip looks some make it look more like a dog, but some make it look like a straight up Lovecraftian, like Yug Sugaroth sort of monstery deal.
Oh, hell
so,
yeah. It's like
the-
a walrus cat.
Yeah, dude. It comes out the ground and
the
snatches
bunyip,
you.
and they haunt the waterways, and
Yeah.
so the bunyip is one.
Wait, what? They haunt the water?
They haunt
Hold
the
on.
waterways.
That's why the
waterways.
pizza's so good.
Nah, that's right. Yeah,
Why do you need? You have saltwater crocodiles that literally haunt the
Yeah,
waterway.
yeah,
Why do you
right.
need another man-eating beast? I love that. It's not not
well,
enough.
the croc will eat you. The bunyip will molest you.
Yeah, the bunyip will, the bunyip will eat your family. It'll make fun of your little dick. No, what?
But there's other ones with less silly names, like the Yowie. The Yowie.
That's the one. That's the Bigfoot, right?
The
Yowie means a
except,
different
like,
thing.
We don't always make so they're not necessarily a Bigfoot. They're like sometimes like a smaller hominid. Is how they're pictured, like a little guy, and so. I've never been able to confirm this, but I heard an urban legend that they found a family of Yowies living in the hinterland, and it
Hinterland.
yes, yeah, between the city and the desert, there be the hinterland.
Fucking amazing.
So it's like bush before it turns into nothing, and like once you get into the nothing, it's even weirder. But in the hinterland, you could run across Yowies, and so they thought that they found the Yowies, and the story goes that a train tipped over in the 1920s. And a family of circus chimps escaped and had been living in the Australian wilderness
Whoa.
for like multiple generations.
The plot of Summer of the Monkeys starring
Exactly.
Dave Matthews.
Yes.
Yeah.
But never had that. They've never been able to confirm it. But
That's incredible.
But then the Aboriginal people also have like cave paintings of other things. There's a word that's escaping me for one of them, but there's another one that was just like they're the tall people, and like when you're out when you go walkabout and you're out alone and you get out past everything, well then you might meet the tall people. And
Okay.
and
It's
like yeah.
Slender Man kind of a
Yes,
situation.
yeah, sort of
Hell
a cross
yes.
between Slender Man and Bigfoot. And,
yeah.
I don't
and
like
so,
that there's multiple.
yes, well, there's big, and like some people thought aliens and like Contact used some images for them. I think movies in the early '90s were pulling from all of these early people groups that have myth have thrown down. It was aliens visiting them all.
Oh yeah,
And
like
so,
the giants in the Bible. Yeah.
Yeah. So like some of them have weird triangular heads, and so they were like, "Well, that's pretty weird. Don't see nothing like that."
It's like Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
and Silent Hill.
Very much. Yeah. It's
Good
like-
game reference, Rivers.
Yeah,
Way to go.
I only know it because it was a Halloween costume. Check out the stream Thursdays.
Australia fucking rules.
Oh yeah,
telling
there's some
you.
cool shit. There's some cool shit.
It's like I walk out in the woods over here and I just see fucking coyotes and just meth heads. Whereas in the fucking Australia, I
Yeah,
can
you
walk out
run
in the
into
woods
dingoes and
yeah,
meth heads. It's totally different.
And then
Yeah,
I
yeah.
go on the outback and I'm like, oh fuck,
I found a dead dingo in a field one day when I was living in Australia.
But she's my favorite Blue character.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And like this was, it was a field where I was minding miniature horses was my job.
It's up
And
with
so
you, man.
I was...
You're minding ponies?
Yeah. So I was checking on. We had a bunch of mini horses, and we had some Shetland ponies. And the difference is Shetland ponies will fucking go ya. Like
Oh,
a Shetland
fucking A,
pony,
really?
yeah. So they can get mean. And so this coyote had been pounded flat. Like this.
Fucking
this
trampled
Shetland
by
pony-
tiny ponies?
Yeah, this Shetland pony had trampled this fucking.
The bunyip was making fun of it.
right. And,
You're a fucking pussy, mate.
and I went away to
fucking pussy cunt.
get a shovel because I was like, I'm not touching that. Like, I'm coming back with a shovel, and I came back with a shovel, and the body was gone.
Oh,
was like,
fuck.
oh no, like
shit.
that ain't great. And I like looked up at Chief was the name of the Shetland pony. He had blood all over his mouth. I was like, oh god.
Fuck yeah.
Whoa.
Yes.
Every
yes.
single word of that got more confusing.
Well, there was a billabong in the field, so it could have been the bunyip
That's
living in the
true.
billabong.
Hey, we'll all go fucking Waltz and Matilda.
I was about
out
to say,
yeah. Anyone want some Billy? I got
was
some on the
mine.
boil.
Oh,
Yeah.
Billy
Miniature
Boyle, yeah,
horses.
yeah. I for my stand-up when I was looking to do a longer bit, I once just did an annotated version of
Fucking
Waltzing Matilda.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It was fantastic. It's a lot of fun.
Last question. Favorite thing that's not there anymore?
There's nothing. That's
Bucket Factory. Talked about this last time. The damn Bucket Factory.
Back when there was a mill and we had mill people and they worked in the mill.
Yeah.
When taxes used to live in Alabama.
Back when the Kia plant was just a field of dirt. I love that. That was good. Before we had high schools and we had cows and land officials. Ooh.
Has the everything gone up in price because the Kia plant is
No.
nearby? No. Still.
No, they all live
It's
here, Rivers.
stuck in a time capsule.
Damn.
Except for the
works-
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Hey, at least the Truitt family believes in you. You know?
There was a bakery, and that bakery is where I got my first gingerbread man, and he was giant. He was a giant man, and
Hell
I
yeah.
miss him, and I want another one of him. So,
you were just smaller then.
oh,
Okay? It's a scale issue.
I'm crushed.
We'll make you a big gingerbread man.
Thank you.
We'll make it happen.
And what can they possibly be doing at the American Cookie Company in the mall right now?
Right?
Like, they aren't doing
that
shit.
still
Wasting
there?
their goddamn time.
Yeah, you better believe
Holy
it, baby. Sbarro's there. Like,
That's unbelievable.
somehow the buffet hasn't killed everything else in the food court.
They probably appreciate like a creative project. Make me the biggest gingerbread man.
Make it as big as a real man.
Imagine,
So big.
imagine that being your first job, working in the fucking American Cookie Company in 2024.
Excuse me, could you make me a ginger dad? Full size ginger dad. I want to walk around with him.
Actually, I want a herd of them. 12 at least.
I want a cradle of ginger dads.
Gold Coast. Favorite thing that's not there anymore, and we can't say the Great Barrier Reef
No,
because it's not gone yet.
Because that's
I did,
sad. No. Me. I was the one that brought culture to your stupid town.
No.
Now you're a bunch of loser ass punks.
Fair enough.
If you're on the Gold Coast listening to this, say something in the Discord.
Yeah.
So you guys can weigh in on how wrong I was about all the information I gave. Ashmore Road Seafood and Steak closed down permanently.
Damn.
I got the notification while I was here living in Alabama, and a literal tear came to my eye.
Was
Sucks.
it pandemic related, or was it just...
Well, the restaurant had grown. Like, it started off as like one building, and then it like built on a big section, then it glassed in the front, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger until it dominated the whole block. And it wasn't in a part of the city that had like other businesses around. Like, it was
Okay.
right next to a sort of rich housing area.
Subdivision.
So like, but fairly ritzy on the upper side. And so they were always complaining to the local council about people parking in their driveways. So they built in a bigger parking lot so that they could keep expanding. They could seat 1,000 people. They did. They had a. It was real big.
Sorry, why would you? Whose first fucking thing to do when you can't find a parking space? Might as well park
in this person's driveway.
What fucking planet are you from?
Los Angeles, California.
The Gold Coast, Australia as well, apparently.
Yeah.
Because that's so it just, I believe, like, you know how a lobster doesn't die of old age, it just gets so big that it
collapses.
No.
That was Ashmore Steak and Seafood.
Holy
it just
shit.
kept getting so big that then they were like, you've got to make $1 million every 10 minutes or else or else we all have to die. And so they shut permanently
instead of just going to a smaller building.
No, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Or limiting hours.
Like, is it really closed? It says permanently closed in red letters on the Google. I was like, they had such good garlic bread, and they would give you free garlic bread and olives and feta cheese.
Oh, fuck.
And then you would order so much food that you could choke an army, and then you'd have dessert as well, because it was worth it.
Well, son of a bitch, Nick. Thanks for telling me now that it's permanently closed.
Right,
My dreams have been crushed.
Well, we've still got Sizzler in LA. I'll take you there.
You've got the last Sizzler.
We've got Sizzlers. Yeah.
Hey, we've still got the Western Sizzling over.
No, we don't. They tore it down, baby.
The Sizzler on the Gold Coast closed down.
Yeah.
I believe they're all closed in Australia.
Oh, I think they're all closed in America. I think it's literally just East Hollywood is the only one I've ever seen open.
It's next to the last Blockbusters. There's the two of them.
Yeah. Well, that is a tour of Nico Brooks, Lanett, Alabama, and Nick Morgan Moore's Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia.